everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Kinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Oh, my camera's not gone. Oh, there we go. Hello! Welcome to F1 24. Welcome to what promises to be yet another exciting and historic game cycle for PSGL and for everyone around the F1 community. And, well, you got to start somewhere. And tonight, we're starting at Qatar for the first round of this season, and alongside me is the one, the only, it's James Head. Hello James, firstly, how have you been? What have you done over the last couple months that we've had no PSGL racing action?
I've been sitting back, relaxing and waiting for season 37 to come along. That's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Definitely excited though for this. We are back now. In the vein, we are back now with PSGL, with the first social race. It is Lobby 1. We've got the likes of Volakongan racing tonight, the likes of NLR Ryan. Very familiar names from PSGL, PSF1. Cannot wait to get started for Season 37.
Yeah, absolutely not. Season 37 promises to be a great season, but obviously first you got these social races to get through, and all of us have looked to make some improvements over there. You will have probably immediately noticed, if you have watched any of me before, I've got a better microphone. I've actually got a microphone on an arm. We've made big upgrades here. You know, we are really taking it up to new heights here for the new game cycle. But these drivers are also going to be looking to take themselves to new heights too. And we've got a pretty stacked... and the transition isn't quite right on this one. But... And for some reason, James, your audio's not on this scene. Right, teething issues of the season already sorted, which we'll add him on to in a literal, well, whilst I do that right now. But now we'll be able to actually hear the man alongside me. James, take us through this amazing lineup for tonight.
It is a real stacked lineup, as you mentioned. So, in the Alpine, we are due for 712 2004 on TRT Brando in the Alpine. In the Aston Martin, we've got TF10 Dirk and Luca Rapazza. Volakongan and Oscar, the Team Chazoo lineup there for Ferrari. EPL Raphael and F7R Flopman. Watch out for him tonight in the Haas. Gavano and Lifeboat in the the former Alfa Romeo, now the Kick Sauber. That's going to get confusing for me, certainly, within commentary. Jesla and NLR Diogo Silva in the McLaren, Slash and TRT Angelo in the Mercedes, and then we've got Jensen and Devon, very goated pairing, I've got to be honest, there in the Red Bull. Nico and Chris BL there in the Visa RB, or the RB as we're going to call them in this stream, and Harrison Holmes and NLR Ryan filling out the Williams. And it's not the first time we've seen Ryan, of course, in the Williams, because he was in that car in PSGL last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, issues aside and intro not being sorted aside, I'm hearing just about as I can't seem to get a Discord call sorted for my life. See the issues of the season already going. No surprise. What I did hear from my controller that the lobby is getting underway. We got 20 drivers on the grid, qualifying about to get underway. Short qualifying, 20 drivers, a new game, a new season. We've seen the handling model, a bit questionable maybe. Gonna spring up a few surprises, no doubt about that one, James.
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, I've already done commentary on this game, so I actually know how these guys will actually cope around Qatar. And honestly, handling model, is the big talking point coming into tonight. It is pretty much like Project Cars 2. If you've ever played a Project Cars game, it's pretty much like that. The lead game designer from there, the lead handling model designer from there, is doing the F1 handling model here. I've heard there's going to be an update potentially in the next 2 weeks regarding the handling model. I know they released that information out recently. I think yesterday they released that out. But we are going to get forward into the stream and into the lobby as well. But honestly, I think this handling model could throw up a few surprises. But I also think it could produce some really good racing. Nonetheless, of course, Byron, we've got DRS enabled on lap 2 now, so it should prevent a lot more overtaking, I think, in the opening laps.
Yeah, absolutely, really should. And well, let's cut across important gameplay. I've got the transition sorted now, and well, we're getting the drivers on the track. It's the first time. It's F1 24. It's on PlayStation. Here we are. Out the pit lane, they now start to come and, well, taking to the Losail International Circuit for the first time on this game cycle. The audio, a lot better, but not much else changing for us in the commentary box. Very familiar feeling, but for these drivers, very different feeling in the cockpit.
Definitely so. And looking through, by the way, in terms of the chat, good evening to everyone, by the way, that is tuned in. Evan Dalton, who apparently hasn't got the game yet, of what I read on social media, is in the chat saying, thank the Lord he upgraded his mic, which is aimed at you, I know for a fine fact. And Snipesy there in the chat saying the worst boyfriend ever in the chat. Definitely not me, so I can only think that might be assuming to one person. But here we are in season 37 into the social race 1. I cannot wait to get started. And the first man out on track, I believe, is our good old friend Enelor. Actually, no, it's not Enelor Ryan. I thought it was him. Colours definitely doing me in here. It is TRT Brando on the Alpine, who's just nearly slid his way coming out of turn 10.
Yeah, really looking quite good for these drivers. First lap's going to be getting underway in the next couple of moments' time, but really going to be interesting to see what happens here. It's a real interesting and new and different challenge for all of these drivers. I'm noticing I haven't seemed to got a game audio. I'm trying to sort that out as we speak, so don't worry about that. But yeah, first driver coming to the line now, Brando. Take it away, James. First lap of the game.
He is indeed running now down in towards the right-hander of turn number 1, which of course has been reprofiled, all new pit buildings and everything coming down into this part of the track through the right-hander of turn number 1 with TRT Brando now into the left-hander of turn number 2. Very much getting the curb there. It really unsettles the car. Coming out of 3 and 4, and then in towards the right-hander of turn number 5. Again, more pit buildings there on the right-hand side. Coming now through in towards the end of this first sector split, coming through the right-hander now, turn number 6, in toward the MotoGP layout, of course, at turn number 7 on the outside line, 29.7 in the first sector from Brando, not looking too bad at all. He now comes in towards the right-hander at turn number 8, unless I'm miscounting corners, which I think I am. This is turn 7, then through the left-hander of turn number 8, then through the right-hander of turn number 9, which is this corner, and then through the left-hander of turn number 10, and Brando looking pretty good, I've got to say. Car absolutely hunkered down on the throttle, coming out of turn number 10, and then in towards my favourite section of the track, where I invalidate for my life around here in time trial mode. 56.5 in the middle sector from Brando, making the triple right-hander looking very, very easy indeed. Now coming through the slight up and down roller coaster through 14, then through the left-hander turn number 15, and then toward the right-hander of turn number 16. Of course, a very much a shorter run now on the run to the line. Brando runs wide, coming through the final corner, invalidates his lap time. It would have been, though, a 1:20.5 to start off the night. So that is a good benchmark to put down. Angelo, though, goes quicker by 2/10.
Yeah, Volakongan now next to come across the line as Jensen there goes second. Volakongan there slots into third, a 1:25.2. So a good lap time from Angelo, setting the top there. Flopman there going to the top of that time sheet as well. Not a bad lap time from him at all, but now plenty of drivers really getting through the laps now as Rafael coming up to the line as well, following his teammate who went P1, only manages P4 there, but Giovanni 5th, Devin there slotting into 6th as Oscar goes to 3rd place there for Shazoo and Ferrari. The opening laps here, so crucial. It's your first momentum and lap in anger around here for the actual session. Who is going to take pole? Well, there's 18 drivers in the bag for it, and all of them are probably going to think they've got a good chance.
They definitely will. I think it's wide open, honestly, this game. Jeslar, by the way, looks very quick on this game. On the run to the line goes 4th, 20.3. Of course, the PSGL F3 man, I think, last season. former PSGL F6 champion as well back in the day. He's there in fourth position, looking very, very good. But it is that man I mentioned earlier on, Flopman, out on top. Now part of the TTM team, formerly, of course, of F7R. He's out on top from Angelo in second, Oscar there in third through the first 5 minutes of the session. Brando has backed off his lap. Looks like he's recharging his battery. Slash is also invalidated, I think, on his run. He did set a previous run, but it was an invalid lap. So he's down in 18th position. And Luca Rapata, who has just joined a new team as of a couple of hours ago. Congratulations on joining that new team. Luca Rapata is now coming through into the left hand of turn number 15, but he is getting blocked as he comes through this part of the track. And who's it by? Typically, it's a Haas.
Yeah, he already had his lap invalidated, so not much worth doing there. And you see the revised pit entry there in the game. Obviously, was different to that in the past, and well, nicely done. But yeah, first lap's done and dusted for most of the drivers. So a few of them getting invalidated, so maybe a little on the disappointed side with that, probably, because you don't want to have your first lap of the game invalidated, but nonetheless, that is how it shall be for some of these drivers in this field. But opening lap time's got Flopman on top as things stand. That, you know, and a good start for him and his campaign. And obviously, you know, the point of this is, you know, is not necessarily going to be where you are when the real season gets underway, but it does certainly help in your placement and all of that. Plus, it's just a bit of fun to get everyone properly bedded into the game. So, really good to see these drivers taking it nice and seriously. And, well, the gaps between them certainly suggest this is going to be a close season.
Yeah, totally agree. I've got to say on that, to be honest. I think everyone is just going to have to find their rhythm, find their rhyme. It's a bit like bobsleigh time. Cool runnings joke if you don't get that, by the way. A flop that on top. Angelo second, Oscar there in third. Oscar, speaking of which, not the Shazoo man there in P3 right now. Oscar Mandock, our social media guy, PSGL. PCM Flopman sounds weird, I know. It sounds really strange. I think it's his first time that he's actually got it in his name on this game cycle. But he is part of a new team, and I'm really looking forward to see how he gets on, of course, in PSGL moving forward. Also, forgot to mention, ET8 Sky Knight has gifted one PSGL sponsored by GT Omega membership, and that was given to a guy with 365 in his name. So thank you very much for that membership. And unfortunately, I can't pronounce the first part of his name. So there we are. 365, got it.
Well, congratulations to him, and well, lovely to see, you know, that channel membership going to someone. And well, now we're going to get these second laps and runs properly underway. Angelo comes across the line to begin his second lap of anger around the Qatar International Circuit. Obviously, Qatar Airways branding adorned around the circuit, no surprise there. He's got a few cars up ahead of him on an outlap, so he's going to have to keep an eye on them because the tyre temperature, all the more important, but he's already invalidated through Sector 1, so he's not going to be getting anything too great. But Brando, who obviously we talked about with his 125 on his initial run, well, he is beginning his second lap of anger, hasn't got one on the board yet. And, well, this sort of circuit does lend itself to that sort of possibility of invalidating very easily because you can really attack a lot of these curbs and run wide very easily. But a good Sector 1 time, 29.713. He's got 2 more sectors to go. Can he get this lap not invalidated when he crosses the line? That is anyone's guess, but a good start nonetheless so far.
Yeah, no, not bad at all. Coming now through the middle sector split. Angelo, by the way, backed off his lap. He invalidated. Harrison Holmes was asking for an invite. He's got one, thanks to me there, so he has now joined the session. Brandock's now coming through the right-hander, though, of turn number 12, 56.4 in this middle sector split. So not looking too bad again as he comes through now the right-hander at turn number 14 and then embarks on the final 2 corners here in Qatar. Halfway through the session, as Brandock's is just invalidated on the inside curve through turn number 15. It's Flopman out on top, it's Angelo in second, Oscar there in third. Also a lap time right now. Harrison Holmes has just joined the session, so he'll be paid in terms of getting a lap time in. Brandock's, by the way, would have set a 20.539, which would have put him, by my calculations, 8th ahead of Raphael. So it wasn't going to be a bad lap time at all. Jensen up in the first sector. Nico going to be up in the first sector by the looks as well. I think the furthest on right now is Vola Kongan coming through turn 15, who is a 10th and a half up, very low on the battery. 4 battery modes, of course, on this game cycle in terms of ERS management, and he's using one of them. Overtake now on the run towards the line. Does gain you a bit of extra speed. Volakongan's the line. Goes second, 20.285. So he's only 4 thousandths of a second off Flopman. But Flopman proving he's no flop right now in first.
No, absolutely not. But keep an eye on Oscar, who's in fourth. He's just watched his teammate go up to second to motor him a place, but he's on a good lap too, improving by just over a tenth of a second there as he went through the sector 2 timing line, and now he's coming up to the final bend of the lap now, and he'll come round and, well, nicely take it round, open that DRS as soon as he can, get up through the gears nicely, and up to the top of the timesheet he goes, and wow, a good lap time from him by nearly a tenth of a second here, up to the top of the timesheet goes Oscar. A good start for both of the Shazoo drivers in this lobby of Oscar and Volakongan, but you know, there's plenty of time for that sort of things to change. As Flopman, he's on a lap, he's down in the first sector, but still plenty of time for his lap to change as well.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of ERS as well, which I've noticed on his lap time. As we see, I think Jeslo, they're going into 5th, Luca Rapazza there in 6th, just nipping up into the timing screens as well. Jeslo is up in the middle sector as well. He's actually the next to come across the line on a lap time through the left-handed turn number 15. He runs wide, coming through 10.15, but you can do that on this game. You can actually run wide and not invalidate the car through there. Jeslo's looking really quick, though. On the run to line, should defeat Oscar, I think, here. Oh, just really close, 20.225. Not a bad lap there at all from him. Flopman is up in the middle sector, but is he responding? No, because he just invalidates coming out of turn 15. And that is the difficulty with the curbs, not only on this track, but on this game. They really do punish you as a driver. Flopman has just seen that. He goes nearly 200 mile an hour into the pit lane. Jeslo's left the session. We'll try and get him back in due course, but Oscar's out on top. Jeslo in second. Flopman there in third, so not looking too bad early on.
No, absolutely not. Raphael now up to the line for EPL, and Haas goes up to 6th place there. Not a bad lap time from him. There's now plenty more drivers getting their lap times on the board here, but still plenty of time for all of these things to change in this lobby as Harrison Holmes begins his first lap of anger after joining the session a little bit on the later side. What can he do? He was known as a relatively fast driver, was prone to making the odd mistake or two, so can he take those tendencies out? Has he got the practice in and really run up the numbers on the lap time here? Well, is anyone's guess, but now he'll come through, and that's allegedly a fastest sector 1 time from Harrison Holmes, so he might be looking to set a very good lap time on the board here as he comes through that second sector now. Runs slightly wide though on the exit, but does hold it very, very nicely there as now we move through sector 2, my favourite sector on the circuit. You see the rear end step out, but we've seen in plenty of videos that sometimes that can somehow be faster, and apparently it's a fastest sector 2, so apparently the rear end stepping out is really working here for Harrison Holmes. We've talked about the handling model, it's the biggest talking point on this game, and well, Harrison Holmes is showing why it is, but unfortunately just too wide there, and the game invalidating it, and rightfully so. Unfortunately, that just was far too wide, even by this game's standards, unfortunately, so not able to hold it, but still tried his absolute best. Would have been a good lap time had he got it on though.
Yeah, definitely would have been a good lap time indeed. TRC Angelo there's into 5th, Raphael there in 6th as well. He's now coming back into the pit lane, but it is Shazoo Oscar out on top, Jeslo in 2nd, Flopman in 3rd. Not the Shazoo man I was expecting to be up there, to be honest, because I saw Volakongan last week in 5 lap open lobbies around here, and he looked rather quick, as did Jensen, and Jensen said earlier on he hasn't touched the game in a week, which, to be honest, I don't blame him, because Byron, this is your first time loading the game up as well, so it is brand new to literally everyone. Jensen there down in 17, 21.3, not representative, though, of his time right now. He is, though, coming through the right-hander of turn number 9. I'm just trying to see, actually, if he's on a lap right now. Is the former WR champion back in the day as well, is Shazoo Jensen on the run there through the left-hander of turn number 11. And the 56.6 is up on his time. 600's up in the middle, 300's up in the middle sector, so he's looking really good. Coming out through the right-hander of turn number 14, the other Red Bull as well, out on track, just starting up on a lap is IRT Devon. He's there in 13th right now. But Jensen in towards the right-hander of turn number 16, through the final corner, on the run to the line. Welcome the Shazoo man, he's run very wide on the apex. How is that valid, by the way? I do not know, but it's a 20.9. And in the end, the game punishes him because he picks up an invalidation. Thank goodness that kicked in.
Yeah, it's a known thing that if you hold your what would be an invalidated line up to the start-finish line, sometimes it's a little bit on the nice side and doesn't take the lap time away from you, but did fortunately do it in the case of Jensen there, and he retires on track there. But obviously, no stewards for this. It's mostly for fun, so no need to worry or stress that sort of thing. But nonetheless, a good attempt to try and hold it there, but coming to nothing, unfortunately, for him on that occasion. But the final runs soon to get underway for the very first time on this game cycle. Do honestly want to know what you guys think. Who is going to take pole position around here? It's the first one of the season for PlayStation, and who could possibly take it? It is your guess. Get your guess in the Twitch chat, because I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think it's going to be. Will it be the man currently out in front, Oscar, or will it be any of the other 18 drivers in this field? Well, it's not going to be IRT Devon or Jensen down in 14th and 18th respectively, but it could be anyone. So get your guesses in now before it is too late. But the final laps had to get underway in a second time, because I believe Volakongan. Oh, it's a Haas. Who is that man? It is Splotman. He's about to get the first lap underway. Why are the Haas and Ferrari cars so similar in colour? I will never know. It's very annoying.
It's an issue that's been, I think, reported to EA, which I am very aware of. I've seen it on the forum, so they're aware of it, and they are going to fix that, I think, in the next patch. Flopman, however, might pick for pole position on the run there down in towards the right-hander of turn number 1, and then through the left-hander of turn number 2 with 20.281 to try and beat his personal best. Will not be beating that, though, however, because he's just run wide, coming out of turn number 2 and 3, and that one towards turns 4 and 5, really flinging the car too much. Coming through turn number 4, he's off towards the desert gravel, and he's nearly in the wall, and in fact, he's out the session. So Flopman out of the session, don't blame him at all, more out of frustration. It is a social race. If that was season 37 first race of the season, I think he would be getting a ban because of that. But Flopman, they're down in third, might pick for pole position, already gone, and that means I am not as what I want.
No, plenty of drivers getting it sorted now, and well, good to see someone also went for Flopman for pole, and yeah, Nathan confirming in the chat that it is indeed a glitch, but Ryan getting his lap time underway now. All of these drivers wanting to improve, no doubt about that one, but who is going to get that all-important big improvement, take themselves to the top of the timesheet? Wow. Will it be the man we're looking at now, Ryan? Or will it be any of the other drivers in this field? Well, it won't be Chris there, who's retired there. They were in 17th place, so weren't going to gain too much there. Ryan up by about 2/10 here as he comes around sector number 3 now. Very important, trying to not run too wide. We've seen how it can be lenient at times, but also can be strict. Which one will it be? Lifebout to the top of the timesheet here, a 120.148, nearly into the 1 minute 19s. Will someone get there come the end of this session? Well, it certainly won't be NLR Ryan as he goes with a 120.231, and that takes him to 4th place in this session. Oscar won't improve. He's invalidated, unfortunately. What about Jesla? He's on a lap time at the moment too, as is plenty of other drivers, as Raphael up to 7th. Plenty of movement here going as Luca Rapassa up to 5th.
Yeah, Jesla not improving, Oscar's not improving either. Both of them are invalidated on their lap times right now. Volakongan has backed off, he's back in the pit lane. Angelo is down, Nico's down. Dirk, I think, is maybe a one to watch out for. He's down in 13, slashing Diogo Silva. Slash, actually, improving by 3.5 tenths. So could go in that nice little gap between Gavano and Nico if he's not careful. Coming through the right-hander now of turn number 16 on the run toward the line comes the Brit, and he does actually go behind Nico by 1,000th of a second. So not looking bad, but Dirk is one to watch out for. 56.2. Believe he picked up pole position around here last season as Angelo goes quickest intra 20 flat. Is Dirk, though, going to try and improve the PSGL PSF2 champion from last season on the run toward the line? Does he get it? No, 9th in the end. A little bit disappointing from his perspective, 20.313. But in the end, I think Nico is down. Diogo Silva is the line. He stays 15th. for now, but everyone is done. It is Angelo out on top, Lifeboat, a Qatar specialist there in second, and Oscar there in third. A real mix-up, I've got to say, within Social Race 1 and some PSF guys that we saw from last season, Ryan there in fifth, Slotman in seventh, Volakongan in eighth, getting trumped by new kids on the block.
Absolutely trumped by all of the new kids on the block in this lobby, and well, no surprise, some surprises definitely in this lobby. If you go on form from last season and you just assume that's how everyone goes into the new game, then, you know, very much surprising. But it's a new game cycle, it's a new challenge. How much time have these drivers had? You know, for example, you look at the likes of Diego Silva, you might think that's a disappointing performance, but you don't know how much practice he'd had. For all we know, he's had 2 hours of practice and everyone else has had 200. If they've had 200, maybe they need to go outside, but nonetheless, an interesting qualifying session, and it does mean Angelo on pole position for this social race here in Qatar. And well, what a circuit to have a social race at, a night race to kick off the season, but Angelo on coveted pole position, the first on a PlayStation of the season, followed by Lifebout, Oscar, Jeslar, Ryan, Luca Rapassa, Flopman, Volakongan, and Dirk, and then Raphael rounding out your top 10. Brando, Giovanno, Nico, Emil / Devin, Diego Silva, Chris B.I., Jensen and Harrison Holmes rounding out the grid there. So 19 drivers looking to battle this one out. And wow, I don't think we get a lobby restart. I didn't see any indication of any, you know, thing like that happening. So I think we just threw ourselves straight into it. And well, it's going to be a long race. Going to be an exciting race nonetheless. What are you going to be keeping an eye on, you know, when we look at these drivers and all their pace?
Honestly, racing standards, I think, from these drivers, I think social race obviously is going to be really important, I think, to try and really get a grip of who and what and how the drivers are going to cope out on track. We are getting, by the way, started now until we get going. So I think, honestly, I think personally, driving standards, you want to try and put yourself in the right foot. Big C is there in the chat. You want to try and make yourself a fan of him early on, and a fan of the stewards early on as well. So behave yourselves out on track, deliver us a good race in the commentary box, and deliver these guys, the viewers, a good race in the comment section as well, both on YouTube and indeed on Twitch. I see you guys over there as well. Jess in the chat saying, interesting to see Angelo on top, and Lifebad up there too. Lifebad has won around here before in a different league, so I know him quite well from his Qatar pace on F1 23. Abood asking, is anyone on controller? We haven't got the Barrack to unfortunately be in this lobby, but I think a couple of them might be on control. I'll get that confirmed, but there is no restart, and we are getting going in a minute's time.
Yeah, hopefully getting underway in a minute's time. And what a track to have the very first race at. I mean, Qatar, it's such a fun circuit to drive. If you played the F1 game or haven't played it yet, definitely try Qatar out. It's quite a fun circuit. Definitely difficult on those all-important track limits. But, you know, well, you love a bit of a challenge. These drivers are always up for every challenge they can possibly have. So why not add one more to the mix? Give them a new game cycle, give them a difficult circuit on the track limits, and a handling model that, let's face it, everyone hates. Throw it together. This is the outcome. It's going to be carnage. But who doesn't love carnage? Absolutely going to be brilliant.
It's not PSGL without carnage, though, is it? Let's just be real for a second. It's just not PSGL without carnage. We should be getting going very, very soon. Indeed, in fact, the 5 red lights.
Yes, 5 red lights here in Qatar, and it's lights out, and away we go here for the first race of Season 37 and the first race of PS on F1 24. And Angelo, a good start there into turn number 1 there. Lifeback trying to get alongside. A bit of movement there towards the back of the field, but nothing too much to be said in the early stages of this race. But a few drivers moving around here, but no contact really being made between anyone as Luca Rapassa gets ahead of Flopman there up into P6. Flopman has not had a great start in this race at all. He's shown the door there versus Flopman. Most drivers opting for the medium compound tyre here, it seems, as we get this opening lap of action underway. Volakongan gets himself ahead of Flopman, and Raphael there loses plenty of places. He's down to 19th, and now this first lap, really beginning to fan out. The gaps will begin to grow a little bit, but remember that DRS enabled after the end of this lap is going to help keep the entire field more congested than ever before. But Volokongan doing a nice job there to battle with Flopman. He's keeping 7th place ahead of Flopman there, and now the opening lap will begin to come to a close there. And Angelo holding it very nicely. Lifebout in 2nd with a bit of pressure behind from Oscar. Ryan in 4th. Jesla in 5th. Luca Rapassa in 6th. Volokongan in 7th. Flopman, 8th. He's lost a lot of places and a lot of time on this opening lap, so keep an eye on him for making movement. And then Dirk and Shivano as obviously the fastest lap going the way of Angelo on the opening lap, as Luca Rapassa ahead of Jesla, and they head down to turn number 1 once more.
Yeah, really impressive so far out on track. Volokongan and Flopman, by the way, got caught in a bit of a scrimmage coming through turn number 7. That's why they lost so much time, around 7.5 tenths I think they lost on the back of Jesla. They've got back within 4 tenths of a second, so it's good for the future of this race. Harrison Holmes and Devon are having a fight further down the field as well. That's an overtake, I think, done for the Red Bull. He's into 14th. Harrison Holmes, however, though, trying to stick it on the inside line. It's his first race, actually, on F1 24, coming down around the outside of turn number 7, trying to get the job done. Devon holds him sway, holds him for 14th. Brando there is the only man, along with Diogo Silva, on a sort of hard compound of tyres. Might be a blessing in disguise. They could try and make a one-stop work. 2 stops, however, I think is going to be the order of the day. That's why you're seeing the majority of field on the set of medium compound tyres. Angelo leads the way, though. Lifebout in 2nd, Oscar there in 3rd. Tom Roberts saying, why are we not watching the cars? We are now, luckily. It is Angelo out of top, Lifebout 2nd, Oscar there in 3rd. But everyone just calm in the early stages. I don't think it'll be like that down towards turn 1, though.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what's going on. You know, it's really interesting, this the start of this action and how things are going. And, well, we will get you the tyres you are after, as Luca Rapassa sets the fastest lap of the race as things stand. We'll get all your
the lead.
telemetry. But, yeah, Lifebout into the lead of this race. It's going to be a bit of a slow burner, I think, this one, maybe. But we certainly have got a long way to go here for this race, and well, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on, as we see a few drivers in the chat here, and well, plenty of well, drivers going to be keeping an eye on this, seeing the pace of all these around, as well, now everyone begins to get through, as Volokongan looked very close to the back of Jesla there for 6th place. Is now down the inside goes Flopman on Jesla. What a dive that is from the Haas there. You know, he's signed to a new team. He's changed his name at long last, and now he is really fighting for this position against Volokongan. What a scrap this is between the pair of them. And now they'll head through sector number 3. Volokongan ahead of Flopman. And, well, what a defence, a real stern defence. And now Volokongan will probably look to try and regroup and set his sights on Jesla once more.
Yeah, and Dirk's right in this battle as well, on the back of Volokongan and Flopman. All of that came from Volokongan trying to dive it down the inside of Jesla at turn number 6, and Flopman then trying to dive him down the inside of turn number 7. Dirk's going to have a run at the pair of them. Oscar could get past Angelo. Angelo could get past Lifebout. All hell's breaking loose down in towards turn number 1. We can't keep up. I have to try and keep an eye on one battle, and that's Dirk to the inside on Flopman in towards turn number 1. Gets the job done. He's up into 8th position. Oscar there and Lifebout up into 2nd and 3rd respectively. So Angelo through, Oscar through, up into 1st and 2nd. Lifebout there in 3rd. He's now coming under pressure from the PSGL F1 man last season of Ryan, Luca Rapazza and Jesla, former teammates there in 5th and 6th position. Volokongan in 7th, Flopman, Barno currently the top 10 / looking maybe for a move in the background, as well as Harrison Holmes is the first person to pick up a 3-second penalty out on track. And Otaku Logan, by the way, £5.24. Happy new game cycle. Thank you very much for that super chat. And of course, Logan is, I think, going to be part of the commentary team for Lobby 2.
Yes, he absolutely is. Welcome, Logan, to the chat, and thank you, Logan, for the generous donation. Lovely to see my former co-com as well. Commentated with him last season and had great fun doing so, and lovely to see him in the chat as always. But this race is just going to be as lovely as that man is. You can catch them at 8 PM, but don't go anywhere because this lobby will still be going. We'll pass you straight onto them once we're over, but going to be great to see the end of this race and how things go as Angelo, another fastest lap of this race, but Still plenty of laps to go. 25 laps to go this time around. As you see there, that's Dirk getting himself ahead of Flotman. Actually staying ahead of Flotman, sorry. And well, now really trying to mount the pressure, I think, onto the back of Volokongan, because he's not been looking the best when it comes to trying to size up the overtake there on the car ahead of Jesla. So opening the door maybe a little bit to those behind.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think Volokongan's made some uncharacteristic mistakes. We normally see him really, really calm, cool and collected. He's far from that here tonight. I think he's going for aggressive moves, like we saw with Jesla just a couple of laps ago, diving down the inside line, then putting Flotman in a position for him to attack the back of Volokongan. He's the one, I think, ultimately in the top 7 right now that is struggling. Jesla is beginning to feel the same as well. These tyres, by the way, do not last. I'm going to give you a quick, though, whiz of the ERS that we are going to be seeing, and I hope I'm going to try and time this right for people that are actually using it out on track right now. So, ERS has 4 different levels. We've got none, we've got medium, overtake and hot lap, and that is all used within the race. So I'm going to pick an example with Oscar coming through the final corner with Angelo. He's hopefully a bit of ERS down the straight. There we go. Overtake mode on. Now going to try and get the move done down and towards turn 1. Gives you 21 an hour extra speed down the straight. Lifeboat looking to try and do the same. He's on none, however, so he's using up no ERS. So Oscar retakes the race lead off that overtake, and you can see how much he used up in terms of the ERS there. He used up about 20-30% nearly of the battery. He's there into first, Angelo in second, Lifeboat in third. Volokongan, however, and Jesla, side by side as I come on board with them now, in towards turn number 5. Beautiful helicopter cannons we saw, and Volokongan shoves Jesla off track. More Jesla's fault than Volokongan, actually, but Volokongan through, and he's into 6th. Vola is coming through the field.
He is indeed coming through the field now in 6th place. I didn't quite get that helicopter shot you got. I wish I dearly had that. But here you see, I do get a nice shot of Flopman and Dirk trying to battle it out there. Trying to go side by side as now Dirk defending versus Flopman. Flopman really around the back of that Aston Martin car as now they'll all come through Sector 3. There's, that is Diogo Silva who's had an incident there and he's lost plenty of places there, unfortunately, at the back of this field. But Volokongan definitely did a great move there on Jesla, and now we'll definitely be looking to those ahead, but looking good so far in this race. This entire field so close. I think the benefit of that DRS opening 1 lap earlier really helping to keep this field even more closer as another 3-second time penalty. This one Raphael, but plenty more to follow as Oscar loses out to Angelo once more. And now look at Luca Rapassa and Lifeboat battling through Sector 1.
They are really aggressive coming through turn number 4 and 5. Lifeboat there in 4th, Luca Rapassa there in 5th. And look at Ryan right on the back of the front too as well, looking to try and come alive in the Williams right now with Lifeboat and Luca Rapassa all in behind. They're really getting aggressive, too aggressive though for Luca Rapassa. He's got a 3-second penalty out on track. Volokongan and Jesla 6th and 7th. FaceTime, by the way, going off in the background. Apologies about that if anybody heard it, but Angelo leads the way. Oscar 2nd, Ryan in 3rd as Jensen has had a moment further down the field. He's there down in 19th position. Oscar and Ryan, however, 2nd and 3rd, not looking too bad. It's all really nice. We're only on lap 7, by the way. This is only lap 7, and we've had about as much action as what we see within the Monaco Grand Prix and Formula 1. This is really good stuff, and hopefully drivers will keep on behaving themselves. As we've got a yellow flag, and that's Jensen round, I think, again.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. It's not been a great point for him, but you know, we're definitely getting through and getting a lot of action out of this one, and it's great to see how these drivers are tackling this circuit. You know, it's such a interesting circuit because in some ways you could see it as an easy circuit, but in others it's a very difficult and complex circuit to maximize lap after lap as Oscar gets himself up into first place there. Nicely done by him, ahead of Angelo once more as the action will continue, no doubt, throughout this race. And well, it won't be too long till we start getting those pit stops in, and once we do, that's when things will really chase as Volokongan goes to the inside of Luca Rapassa here through Sector 1, and well, come the exit as now we get towards Sector 2, and now through this hairpin, there's plenty of them speeding in the pit lane for Jensen. He's retired from the lobby, and well, Volokongan still trying to hold it around here. Could this be an incident that no one wants to see? Well, it's not looking ideal, but he manages to keep 6th place, doesn't lose too much time. A good battle between the pair of them. Luca Rapassa definitely feeling the heat.
Yeah, definitely feeling the heat indeed. You're marking a race around here that I saw last season in a team event around here with both of them having a battle, and Rapata and Volkongen. And take me back, I think, to the good old days of that battle as well. But it is Oscar leading the way, Angelo in second, Ryan there in third. Not looking too bad, I'm going to say, this race so far out on track. Watch out, though, for the man there in 4th position, Lifebrad. He's just losing time now to the back of Ryan, Angelo and Oscar. So he's now on the back foot compared to somebody like Jeslar Volokongan, who might be on the front foot down the straight. Lifebrad could lose a little bit of time. Everyone, I think, is clean through down and towards turn 1. Harrison Holmes making a move on Devon further down the field. He's doing his in 2 and looking for some 13th position for the Williams man. He's a second off the pace compared to Slash. Quite a few penalties, by the way, so far in this race. We'll run them through now on lap 9 out of 29. Luke Paxa has got 3. He's there in 5th. Brando and Gavano, 10th and 11th, have both got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Harrison Holmes, Devon and Raphael, 13th, 14th and 15th, have also got 3 seconds worth of penalties. So nobody has got over that 3-second range, but it is very easy to try and do this. And, well, I'll just throw it out there. I got robbed of a race victory as Angelo's about to get robbed a second from Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely has been robbed of Ryan. Very successfully done there from the NLR man. In that Williams car, he's become very familiar with that Williams branded car. I have no doubt about that one. That man has been in a Williams probably since about 1976, when Williams were probably last actually relatively successful. But, you know, nonetheless, a good result here so far for Ryan as things stand. And, well, doing a good job to try and keep close to the back of Oscar, whilst also making the crucial overtakes when he needs to. And Angelo dives it into the pit lane. It's a bit early maybe, but deciding that definitely now is the time to pull the pin as Volokongan comes in as well as Flopman. So 3 drivers into the pit lane. First pit stops of the season, and here we go, lap 10, and someone had to pull the pin, and it was them 3 who came in first, as now everyone else set to respond very, very quickly, no doubt about that one.
Do you know what I said about medium compound tyres wearing away after about 9 or 10 laps? I meant it. I really did mean it. The mediums and the softs go off so quick on this game. No matter what track you're at, it goes off so quick. The hards, however, way more durable and everything. So they could get to the end of the race. 19 laps, they could get to the end of the race. Diogo Silva and Brando will have to come in for a set of mediums, probably around about lap 16, 17, for them to try and get towards the end of the race. But everyone, at this moment in time, I think have got to be having one eye on that pit lane. They're going to be having one eye on that undercut from Volokongan, Angelo and Flopman. They can all sit on a big train together. They can work together for now. And then when it comes to the pit stops, they're going to be gaining time. And I mentioned last season when we came around here, it was about a 4 to 6 second gain on average in terms of laps. So the further you go on, the more unlikely it is for you to pull home an undercut. However, we have got the front 2 in. Lifebrad and Luke Rapata, however, along with quite a few actually, stay out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Oscar comes out. He was leading the race when he came into the pit lane, but will he be leading it once he comes out? Obviously, provisionally, that being, but he has got a nice gap in and a nice gap out, but where are those 3 behind? You see as Volokongan, Angelo and Flopman come round the final bend now, head down the straight. You could see them there in the background, just heading onto that Qatar Airways board, and as they come out, there's a Williams there in the way. I believe that was Harrison Holmes there, and well, out into the forefront of this is Oscar, who has got himself ahead of Ryan, Volokongan, Angelo and everyone. And yeah, spin there, and well, not great for Jeslar, but you also see there Nico has also had an incident there as he came out of the pit lane in exactly the same place. So I wonder if there's a bit of contact or something between them two, because both of them having a bit of an incident there, but they've got the undercut advantage to maybe gain a little bit of that time back versus those who still haven't pit, as Luca Rapassa is slightly setting his sights up on the back of Lifebout here, as no doubt the rest of the field are likely to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap.
Yeah, Brando and Diogo Silva, I think, will be the only ones continuing on, I've got to say, on this lap. Lifebout comes in, as does Luca Rapata. Dirk is staying out. He doesn't want the double stack from the Aston Martin. And now Brando passes lap of the race, sets his sights on P1, powers down the straight, in towards turn number 1, and he's through and ahead of Dirk. So he is through into the lead of the race. Diogo Silva, as I say, staying out. Dirk also opting to stay out. Doesn't want that double stack with Luca Rapata. Oscar and Ryan coming out through the right hand of turn at number 16. They are just about to embark on the start-finish line, so it's going to be really close between Lifeboat and Luca Rapata. I think they're going to be well ahead, though, however, this train, and they are. They're miles ahead of the train coming out. Oscar ahead, Ryan ahead. Ryan, by the way, spun out the pit lane. Not sure if you caught that, but I definitely did. And there's also
another
a spin
spin.
from Luca Rapata in the background. Luca Rapata round in the background. On that cold set of hard compound of tyres, you have to try and get those tyres up to working temperature. Coming straight out the pit lane of Qatar, it's frankly impossible. And we've seen Luca Rapata spin, Jeslo spin in the space of, what, a lap?
And Nico also spun there at exactly the same place where the other ones have spun as well. Angelo, by the way, huge monumental thing in this race. He's got himself a 3-second time penalty, as does Lifeboat as well. So huge time penalties there for the drivers who are well in the mix for the race win here. And well, that penalty is going to pretty much spell an end to that one as we do move through the laps very nicely. I was expecting to see Durkin on this lap. He's not coming to the pit lane. I'm a bit surprised by that.
Medium compound actually, yeah, he's on the medium, so I would say maybe fresher hards to the end of the race. He thinks obviously the hards may not get to the end of the race as per everyone else. That could be his thinking. It's good thinking, but I don't think it's the correct thinking, I'll be honest, from Dirk's perspective. There in second, Angelo setting his sights on Lifeboat and Bolokongan, 3 wide down the straight in towards turn number 1, and he passes them in the blink of an eye, and watch out, because here comes no flop around the outside into turn number 1. There's contact, there's a bit of lag involved as well. Bolokongan, I think, had a major lag back there, coursed into the side of Flopman. Lifeboat got caught up in that as well. Flopman gets 2, didn't quite land though, but it is no flop at his finest. He's through, he's into 7th, Lifeboat there in 8th, and Bolokongan there in 9th, and honestly, from Lifeboat's perspective, his life was flashing in front of his eyes with Flopman and Bolokongan side by side.
How did one of them not spin? How do they keep so much time and momentum? They've not lost DRS to anyone. I am so surprised at how they managed that one. Just an update there, looking at Dirk. I think he was trying to keep in the DRS of Brando, so I should expect to see him in the Aston Martin in the pit lane at the end of this lap as Diogo Silva obviously continues on there. So he should move up to second place. And well, there you go, Dirk into the pit lane now, off those medium compound tyres as well. Everyone will now be on a set of hard compound tyres around this track. Diogo Silva and Brando still yet to pit in this race. And, well, they've got a bit of an advantage, I think, realistically. They'll have fresher tyres towards the end of this race on a different compound tyre as well. So it's going to be interesting as Flopman, despite the 3-wide incident, sets the fastest lap of the race. And, well, Luca Rapata does the same. So going to be a lot of action here as Raphael battles there. There's a big battle towards the back, actually, as Luca Rapasa tries to get his way ahead of Raphael, and also got his way ahead of Giovanni there down the straight.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking through, by the way, Jeslo and Bolokongan have retired from the race, as has Chris RB, as has Alison Holmes, in the space of about a lap. So everything going on in this race, I don't think we saw that. I'm getting the yellow caution flashing on the top left-hand side of my screen, at least, which why I can't really see who is retiring. Oscar and Ryan, however, Ryan swapped positions with Oscar, so he's now net lead of the race. He's through and he's into 3rd right now. Brando and Diogo Silva still yet to come in the pit lane. They'll be coming in, I would assume, a set of mediums in around about 3 or 4 laps time, just to try and ensure they can get to the end of the race. Everyone picking up the penalties, everyone now stacking and packing the field up, as is Ryan in 3rd position. Another yellow flag out on track, and I think that is Jeslo's AI retiring, and there's also, I think, Nico around on the RB.
Yeah, Nico has gone round once again, and someone who won't be looking to try and go around is Luca Rapasa. He's instead going to be looking to go around Raphael and get his way up into P9 in this race, but Raphael sets the fastest lap of the race, but that is nothing that will stop Luca Rapassa from using it a bit of the battery and getting his way ahead of that Haas car behind him and getting his way up into 9th place. He's very close to the DRS off the back of his teammate Dirk, who slot into 8th place after pitting off those medium compound tyres that he ran a little bit longer than everyone else. But as things stand, it is Brando and Diogo Silva leading the way in P1 and P2 respectively. Both of them yet to pit, but Ryan in 3rd, Oscar 4th, Angelo in 5th, Flopman in 6th, Lifebout in 7th, Dirk and Luca Rapassa 8th and 9th for Aston Martin, and then Raphael rounding out your top 10 here in Qatar. But as we said, this is more of a test bed session. It's equivalent to pre-season testing in Formula 1. You know, it's a bit of an opportunity to just see where you stack up against the opposition, you know, and it's a bit of a more competitive opportunity to do so. But won't stop these drivers taking it seriously, will it?
No, definitely not. I think they want to try and get as many laps under running as possible. It gives you that confidence moving forward, not only after your first time in the game, or if you're a seasoned professional like Flopman is, who's had the game for about a week. Oscar, by the way, going for Ryan in towards turn number 1, gets the move done in towards technically a P1 with Brando and Diogo Silva, but it is a P3 for now for Oscar and Ryan down into 4th. Flopman, though, looking now to try and get on the back of Angelo. He's really, really good, by the way, in terms of his track limits right now. He's looking right on the back of Angelo, putting him under pressure. Lifebout picked up a penalty behind him. It is looking really, really strong, I've got to say, from Flopman right now. Not only that, he's got more ERS. He's got 80% of ERS. Angelo's got 75, Ryan's got 98, and Oscar's got 89. So Flopman is looking very good in his ERS. Lifebout also looking good. So everyone just trying to save up as much as possible. Want to try, though, and get as many runs as possible. Justinia, by the way, in the chat, was asking for the penalties. I'm going to put them up right now. Brando on 3, Angelo on 3. Lifeboat's now got 9 seconds worth of penalties. He's got to be careful. Luca on 3, Raphael 3, Gavano on 6, Devon on 3, and Slash on 3 seconds worth of penalties. So that is your rundown on the penalties. Lap 17 out of 29 beginning. There's going to be a hell of a lot more coming before the end, though.
Absolutely, a lot of things to be decided between now and that all-important checkered flag as Brando picks him, moves down and below Diogo Silva, which is an interesting... Yeah, very interesting to see that between the pair of them. He came into the pit lane. It didn't show it on my screen. It chose to prioritize the thing showing that he has a penalty for some reason, because that's clearly more important information. Absolutely. But game things aside, he's onto a set of medium compound tyres, gets out in 8th place, so between Luca Rapassa and TF10 Dirk, and he's emerged right in the middle of that battle. If he can get these tyres up to temperature nicely, he'll be hoping to get ahead of Luca Rapassa and chase up ahead of Lifebout and Flopman, but he's got a lot of work to do to get there, as now Ryan is going to have to do a lot of work to try and keep those behind, like Oscar and Angelo behind, but also Flopman, who's going for an overtake on Angelo here.
No way. Around the outside of turn number 10, you must be daft. You must be silly, but he is not, and he doesn't go for the move in the end. That was quite literally going to be a moment to behold. If Flopman pulled that off, I probably would have come to France and shake his hand, because honestly, he was looking for that move right until the cats come home. Luca Rapassa and Brando, though, are beginning to catch this group, so that is going to be more important, I think, than Flopman maybe going for the move on the back of Angelo. They are catching hand over fist. Brando was special on that side of medium now. Luca Rapassa really sliding the way out the car through the final corner. Easy as you like for Brando. The easiest overtake I think you'll see all night from the man and the Alpine. He's through, he's into 7th, and of course Alpine in the news with Dirk now going down the inside of his teammate Luca Rapassa in towards turn number 1 as well. Of course Alpine in the news because Esteban Ocon is leaving them at the end of the season, and I think he's going to go to the man currently sitting in P4's team, and that is Mercedes.
Yeah, possibly a likely scenario, but real world news aside, we're creating our own news here in PSGL. A new season obviously getting underway very soon, and this social race a big indicator for that. Really gonna show up where you will or will not be, because if you show bad pace here, well, it's not gonna help you get anywhere substantial come, you know, the placements for the new game cycle. Even if you set some relatively good lap times, but nonetheless, someone who has been setting very good lap times is, well, Angelo, who's got himself a penalty, so will drop a few positions as things stand, but is certainly doing a good job there in 4th place, but has got a little bit of work to do to try and get up to and ahead of Oscar and Ryan, as Diego Silva does finally come into the pit lane. He lost a lot of time to those in behind through staying out that bit longer. As Brando, he's ahead of Dirk. He's done a good job here in this race, and on the back of Lifebout now, he's got a good chance to get some good places up towards the line, but a lot of effort has to go into these overtakes.
Definitely. So I think, honestly, with Brando, if I had one piece of advice to give him right now, and if he is listening to the stream, which he might be, just sit right behind, maybe just hold on to the tyres. I think that's probably going to be his biggest advantage that he's got. Those tyres, 5 laps fresher than Lifebout, 7 laps fresher than Flopman, Angelo, Ryan and Oscar. Now, by the end of the race, that advantage will be completely gone. Those tyres will definitely be in and around the same wear as Brandox's medium compound tyres right now. But Brando, I think personally, he's just going to sit him right behind. Flopman and Lifebout are coming back to him. Lifebout has got 70% of ERS. Brando's got 92. If I was in his shoes, I'd be waiting just to try and pick up the moves one by one, make your way through the field. Don't go for over-aggressive moves. Don't be that driver that Flopman used to be, where he used to go for really aggressive moves. Lifebout gets an aggressive penalty for the 3-second warning, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings again. I think it's now 12 seconds for him. But here comes Brando, speaking of which, on the back now of both Sauber of Lifebout and in the kick Sauber even a Lifebout, and also the Haas of Flopman down in towards turn 1, and Brandox is going to get both of them down the inside line in towards turn 1. That is how you pick your battles, my friend. Brandox through, and he's into 4th out of the James Head trade book, that one.
Yeah, brilliant overtake there for him. Nicely done to get himself up there. And a Flopman has retired on track. That's an interesting one. Has he made a mistake there? You'd hope.
No,
that's a mistake. He's just retired. He's just thrown himself off into the gravel trap, it seems. Very interesting there from Flopman. Clearly not happy with that. Very interesting to see, these drivers, kind of calling it quits once maybe things have got a little on the tougher side. Not sure if I necessarily agree with that. As we were saying earlier, such a useful session for these drivers to really bed themselves in and, understand everything about what their pace is like versus those around them. And I just think it's a bit of a waste to go dismissing such an important and valuable session in these ways. But hey, that's what the drivers have chosen to do. So, each to their own, I suppose. But it just seems a little on the maybe not so useful side. But hey, I'm not a driver. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree, to be honest, on that. I think Brandox and Angelo are fighting past each other. Lifebout's now retired as well. Ryan gets the race lead of Oscar. Quite a lot happening in the social race, but as the title suggests, it's a social race. However, if stewards are watching from PSGL and Big C and everyone's watching and behind, I personally think you've got to complete all laps. I think you've got to try and make yourself really stand out from the crowd, really put yourself on the map, even in these social races. This is the early stage of the game cycle. We're only a week into the game cycle actually being released, but I think you complete the laps. You don't give up in a normal league race. That's just part and parcel of the league race at the end of the day. You don't give up out on track like Flopman did. And I think, personally, to create the best impression, you've got to try and complete every single lap out on track. Just try and check what you're worth. And if you're worth anything, as Dirk goes off into the gravel completely, going off to Bahrain maybe with that one, coming across into turn number 10. He put me off there, but Ryan leads the way. Oscar second, Brandox that in third. Personally, I think drivers should just continue on. I know Flopman saying he had front wing damage, so maybe that's a reason why he didn't want to continue on. Yeah,
I mean, understandable if you're in that scenario. Hey, bit of a damaging scenario. You don't really want to do that too much, but hey, not necessarily sure I agree with some of these drivers' mentalities. Just give up the moment it gets hard. That's the point of racing. It's not supposed to be easy, as Dirk makes his way ahead of Giovanni, and he made that one look pretty easy. But Brando also ahead of Oscar. And again, these drivers are making moves where it counts.
And Brandox is doing exactly what I wanted them to. Just pick them off one by one, try and create a gap, and he's now ahead of Oscar. That was a beautiful move around the outside of turn number 2 from the Alpine. Definitely getting on with things. Flopman, by the way, was reporting no force feedback as well within his wheels, so definitely difficult there for the Frenchman out on track. Respect his decision ultimately to retire, as you mentioned. Every driver can do what they want out on track. This is just a social race, and personally, if I was in the shoes right now, I'd be continuing on just to try and get maybe some fake points on the board as well, with only 12 drivers continuing on. But Brandox there on the back, really now looking on the back. It's very, very easy to try and save up ERS on this game. Brandox is doing that right now. 6 lap pressure tyres to Ryan. That advantage will be gone in around about 4 or 5 laps time. So Brandox has got to make the best of his way home on these tyres before they really go off the cliff. And he's on the back of Ryan. And again, like I said earlier on, this will be the easiest overtake you'll see all night. Brandox breezes past Ryan as if he's standing still down the straight in Qatar at the Lusail International Circuit. Brandox takes lead for the first time this race.
Yeah, beautifully done. That's exactly how you do it. When you're trying to get all of the action and overtaking done, that's how you do it. Nicely done there. But plenty of opportunity for things to still change. And Brando, he's leading the race. He's on a set of those medium compound tyres, and it's not going to be easy for him to keep it as we move to the end of this race, because those tyres will start to go off as Nico gets himself another 3-second time penalty, being a race to forget for him. Raphael, another driver, maybe a race to forget. He's just picked himself up another 3-second time penalty as well. So, not been the easiest of times for the likes of Brando. For the likes of Raphael and Nico. But, there again, Brando, he does have himself a penalty too, so not been the easiest of time for him.
They're continuing on, though. That's the main thing. And even with penalties, Qatar is a very difficult track, I think. The track limit, Ryan nearly proved my point there because he nearly ran wide. Turn number 15, he cut the inside curb, nearly ran wide. He got, I think, with that. Might have picked up a warning, however, in the race director. But he is on the back there, the German of Brandox in towards turn 1. The TRT man under pressure. Ryan's not using any ERS down the straight. This is not going to be moved down and towards turn 1. Dirk, however, as you mentioned there, Raphael now dropping off the cliff, maybe in terms of his tyres. Dirk now through these into P6, looking pretty easy for the PSGL PSF2 champion last season. But race is split really into 2. Brandox, Ryan, Oscar, Angelo, Luca Rapazzo all for the race win. And then you've got the Dirk, Raphael, Gavano battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. And then you've got other battles with Slash, Devon and Diogo Silva, who has, I think, just got the move done, has Slash on the back of Devon and towards turn number 1. So Slash through he's into 9th, Devon they're down into 10th. Brandox, though, leading the way. That 4/10 advantage is not great to have right now. You do not want to be leading on the final lap here anyway. And Brandox currently 78% of ERS, Ryan full battery, Oscar 79, and Angelo 44. So Angelo probably the one in trouble out of the top 5 with ERS.
Absolutely. Not doing too great as things stand in this race, and a bit disappointing. Maybe, for some of these drivers, you look at what their expectations might have been, and they've definitely not necessarily lived up to them. But, going to be great to see. We've got only a couple of laps left now, and, Ryan is going to be fancying his chances versus Brando here as we'll head down the straight once more. And then you see in the back there as Luca Rapassa tries his hand on Angelo, gets the move done. Hefty lock up there for him, but gets himself up into 4th place as the battle will continue. We get a lovely helicopter camera here as well as Luca Rapassa ahead of Angelo there as well. And this top 5, they are swapping and squabbling like nobody's business, but nicely and beautifully done by everyone here just to keep it nice and in check. And wow, what a performance from these guys.
I think I'm in shock and awe from what Luca Rapazza's just done down and towards turn 1. Nearly got forced into the pit wall, then absolutely cannonballed it down the inside line of Angelo, and then somehow got that car stopped, didn't go off into Narnia, and then ended up in P4. Absolutely marvellous, that move from the Aston Martin. He's there on the back of Oscar, now under pressure from Angelo once again. But Luca Rapazza, that move was just otherworldly. Really, really good stuff from him. Looking forward to see how he gets on. But Ryan, that experience now coming to the fore, leading the way from Brannox in second, Oscar there in third, Luca Rapata, Angelo coming in the top five. Dirk might be the one to come into this race. He has got fresher tyres than the guys ahead of him, so he could be one trying to whittle away the gap. It is very easy to whittle away the gaps as well with DRS, as Oscar now sets his sights potentially on the back of Brandox in towards turn number one. Everyone just sitting as you like in towards turn number one for now. That 26 out of 29, 3 to go after this one. Ryan from Brandox, from Oscar, from Luca Rapata, from Angelo coming to the top five. Do not rule out, though, Byron, Dirk, P6, those fresher tyres are going to come into play.
Yeah, exactly. All of this, these top drivers, they are going to be squabbling for these positions, and no doubt about it, they've got a lot to squabble and fight for. Sure, it's only bragging rights on the line, but when there are bragging rights on the line, these drivers are going to want to take it, because it is just such a good thing for these drivers to take away. You know, it shows that you've had a good start to the game cycle, you know, and, well, these drivers, they've got a lot to prove. So, no doubt they'll be looking to do that, you know, and plenty of these drivers will be feeling very, very happy with themselves come the checkered flag, no doubt about that one.
Definitely so. Lobby 2, by the way, is also live, so if you do want to tune in for that, you can do. We're going to be taking you straight to the action, of course. After this one, Matteo Cameron-Dowd's doing the rivalry once again out on track. Oh, how I'm going to tune in for that one after this. Ryan leads the way. Brandox in second. Oscar there in third. Nico's now picked up another penalty out on track. Oscar, though, send his sights maybe on the back of Brandox. Brandox might be a sitting down in towards turn number one here. Oscar's on the back of him. He's not going to go for the move. Everyone just sitting back, relaxing in terms of the battery. Oscar got 30% of battery down in towards turn number one. You can really, really save up, but at what cost? Because Luca Rapata flies to the inside line. Through turn number two, Oscar running no ERS. Now he has to use some because he has to try and fend off the attention of the Aston Martin, and he does for now. The Ferrari 30's into third. Really nice battle kicking up between them both. All playing, though, into Angelo's hands, potentially for a P3, as Luca Rapata sent a dive bomb of a century to the inside line on Oscar. Trying to get the job done. Oscar's going to hang him out to dry, though, and towards turn number 7. Still hanging around the outside. Luca Rapata. Surely not. Surely not. Oscar's just about a car length ahead. He is. He's a car length ahead, and he gets back through, and he's into third. But this is playing into the hands, Byron, of the front two.
It absolutely is playing into the hands of that front two. Not looking too bad in this race at all. Are Brando or Ryan? Ryan leading the way as things stand. Not got a penalty to his name, so it's all his to lose realistically in this race. Absolutely sensational stuff here, though. It's going to be great to see this battle continue all the way to the checkered flag here. Just a few comments in that chat about the microphone peaking. Hopefully that's a little bit better now. Do let me know if that's the case. But Brando here, as we head to lap number 28, he heads his way back up into the race lead. He has got a penalty to contend with, but no doubt he will be looking to try and see what he can do. If he can keep any of these places that he has gained so hard in this race and try and pull away as Emma Slash battles with Devin there towards turn number 1. Diogo Silva involved in this one as well, as now we move through turn number 1 with these particular three. As you see the rear end really sliding for IRT Devin. Diogo Silva tries to get himself ahead but can't quite do anything there. But this top 5, it is a battle that is going to continue all the way to the checkered flag.
Definitely is. 3 seconds of Brandox at the minute. Luke Rapata on 6, Angelo on 3. So bear that in mind in terms of your calculations. Gavano, by the way, 21 seconds worth of penalties. He gets another 3 more, or another 9 seconds worth of penalties. That's what I'm trying to say. 9 seconds worth of penalties. He gets disqualified from the race. The maximum you can pick up on the gate is 30. So do not be like Gavano. Don't pick up 21 seconds worth of penalties out on track, as we are about to go on the final two of the Sale International Circuit. Brandox leading the way from Ryan in second. Oscar there in third. Brandox does not want to be P1. Down in towards turn number 1. Ryan on the back of him is going to close in very quickly indeed. Look at the overspeed. Picked up by the Williams to the inside line. Turn number 1. Job done. Is Ryan on for the race win? We'll find out in a lap's time.
Yeah, brilliant. It's going to be great to see. Hopefully as you say in the chat, yes, the microphone were peaking a little bit. Hopefully it's a bit better now. I have had a little look at it, so it might be a little bit better, but the final lap of action is underway here at the point of a practice session. These social races act as a test session, not just for the drivers, but for us as commentators too. And nonetheless, the bragging rights that these drivers will take away from this will be great for them for the start of their campaigns when they get underway in hopefully the not so distant future. But the handling model set to change. Big changes on this year's game, and still plenty more changes to come with those complaints being raised. But NLR Ryan leads the way as we head through sector number 3. You don't want to be leading as you start the final lap, but if you're leading come the end of it, you will be absolutely elated. And well, NLR Ryan will currently be very, very happy with the performance he has put in this race. He's got a lot of wins in his last campaign, was very competitive on F1 23, and he will start his campaign on F1 24 the way it ended on 23. He does win the social race for F1 24, the first race on PlayStation. Oscar there in second, Brando comes across the line in third, Dirk in fourth, Angelo fifth, Luca Rapassa sixth, Raphael in seventh, eighth there for Giovanni, and ninth for I didn't even catch the rest because they all crossed the line so quickly. IRT Devon though is 11th place, it's great. Well, thank you, Shadow, for all of your feedback. No doubt about that one. It has been appreciated by not only me, but also by James, as we will look to sort all of our mic issues out, no doubt about that. But what a social race we've had. A real indication of who's hot and who's not, and well, will be used by all of the team at PSGL to really determine the pecking order for the tiers when we get underway for PlayStation, hopefully in the not so distant future. But there you are, NLR Ryan, the race winner, deservedly so. Noticing a lack of audio here, no podium music. I've got no idea why. This game is something. It's definitely something. But
can you actually see the screen though with the results?
No, I've got a black screen.
Oh, I can't either.
Cool. We're finding new features with this game by the second. Let's see. Because that seems to be a more successful approach. And well, I mean, good race. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's a test session. It's a good opportunity to see where you stand, where, your weaknesses lie, where those around you are doing better. So no one's expecting to go into this being a world-class esports talent, because they're not. It's so early days that, you don't know if you're that good yet. But good to see, these drivers, especially that top battle, those top 5, so competitive, picking up a few penalties for quite a few of them, but pecking order very close.
Pecking order is definitely very close. Ryan, of course, picked up a win, I think, in Austria last season in PSGL, PSF1, so he's definitely got experience of being P1, currently out on track, and of course even the social race. So his first win on F1 24, and I've got to say, it was a really, really strong performance from his perspective as well. It looked really, really strong from him. He will be looking to try and get toward the likes of Matteo Camendao, who are very, very strong on this game as well, so he'll be keeping one eye on Lobby 2, that is for sure. But I think our eyes were peeled definitely to Brandox and his strategy. In the end, perfect strategy call. He just didn't end up leading on the final lap of the race. He ended up with that 3-second penalty, ended off the podium as well. He will be one to watch out for, I'm for sure. Luca Rapazza giving himself a good name. The likes as well of, and I'm just going to go back on the results very quickly because we didn't see them on the stream. The likes as well of Dirk, who finished very well, and Angelo looking to try and put their names definitely within the reckoning of the top tiers in PSGL.
Yeah, it was a great start for plenty of these drivers, and it's going to be great to see what happens when we do get things properly underway. We haven't got all too long until we will be getting a proper season underway, but for now, I think that pretty much does us. We don't get interviews, we don't get all of those niceties that we might expect for a typical race, and well, as Europe will have picked out, not the correct logo either. But hey, That's the point of a testbed session. Even for us as commentators, we're always learning and improving. New assets on the way, a new season underway soon. I'm going to pretty much head you straight on over to the lobby 2. But, James, I think that pretty much does us. But what a good start for some of these drivers. But lobby 2, going to be good as well. You excited for that one?
Well, with coming down to Mateo Racing, yeah, I'm definitely excited for that one. It is going to be really good. Lobby 2 is live right now. They're in qualifying. So if you do want to tune in for that, we're going to take you straight there. But for myself, from Byron, thank you so much for tuning in. Everything will be fixed for next time, and we will see you on the other side.
See you on the other side. Until then, though, bye-bye.